How to Train Your Useless Dragon by Mika Crispy on AO3. Chapter 25. How to Herd Sheep. So, how do you kids do it? Izawa asked the group, looking stunned at the sheep in the vast green field. Do what? Kirishima is the spoken one for the confused teens. Herd the sheep, obviously. The older man scowled. I mean, how do you make the points? Keep score? Win the competition? So this is how their lies catch up to them. Not by the adults finding there are dragons living amongst in their village, but by them figuring out none of the young Vikings have a clue of how a sheep herding competition would even work. Katsuki can't let that happen. He needs to come up with something to tell Aizawa fast. Real fast. Faster than any of his friends can, because if these idiots decide to open their big damn mouths, this shit can quickly go from bad to worse. Oh, it's easy. Pretty easy. The easiest. Kirishima says with an awkward laugh. Too late. Yeah, very easy. We just, whoosh with the sheep. Mina says, smiling while doing the motion of flapping wings with her arms. No, we don't, Thero yells. We talked about it, Mina. No whooshing with the sheep. No, not the, murderous kind of whoosh, Sero. Izuku explains quickly. Just the usual fun kind. Whoosh. Aizawa asks, cocking an eyebrow spectacally. Yeah, whoosh! We make the sheep go so fast it looks like they're whooshing. Hiroshima says, loudly trying to drown out the other sound of the idioticies being sprouted out. So speed is a possible score. What else? Aizawa writes down in his little notebook. Come on, Katsuki, this competition will be used to express the power of their village to the allies and enemies. It is a big fucking deal. It may be what stops their people from being attacked by other villages. He needs to create a sheep herding competition that establishes them as strong and relentless warriors to make sure no one dares to challenge them. We need to make the sheep march as an army, Katsuki says with certainty, and doesn't understand why everyone looks at him as if he had just lost his mind. Make them show strength and discipline, as if they're ready for war. Aizawa ponders for a second, as the other teens looked at Katsuki bewilderedly. Makes sense. So you make the sheep walk as a herd through a specific path, as fast and as organizedly possible, and stop at the marked spots? Yeah, totally. That's exactly what Bakugou was saying. Absolutely. No, actually, Katsuki tries correcting Aizawa, but Deku's soft hand slaps him in the mouth before he manages to finish his sentence. That's right, Mr. Aizawa. That's how we've been training for the competition, Izuku says, with his winning smile. Alright, I'll pass this information for the festival organization people, and leave you to train some more for the competition, Aizawa says, putting his notebook back in his pocket. Unfortunately, I don't know the first thing about sheep herding, so, for reasons clearly beyond my control, the only games you guys will have to train is the one I can't train you. Oh well. Do your best, kids. I'll be at my home sleep. Helping to prepare the rest of the festival. Their mentor walks away, leaving the group of teens still stunned and confused. Great. Now they need to learn how to herd sheep, create proper competition guidelines, and find a way to win the competition to not let their enemies think they are weak. Bakugou rubs his forehead in stress, trying to ignore Kaminari jumping over the fence to talk to the sheep. Sarah running after him, saying sheep have rights and shouldn't be bothered, and Kirishima following the two of them, arguing that they need to find out if sheep are magic too. Katsuki is this close to mounting Deku and flying away from this massive madhouse. I'm gonna make sure they don't hurt themselves, Mina says, jumping the fence after the boys. It's gonna be alright, Kachan. Deku holds his hand, taking Katsuki out of his thoughts. The Viking squeezes the dragon's small hand to get strength for their new challenge. It's just sleep. How hard can it be? Very hard. That's how hard sheep herding can be. It is as hard as Shitty Hair's head, and Katsuki is at a wit's end. The sheep hate them. That's the only explanation. They refuse to follow any of the paths they drew on the field. They don't walk together as a herd, and they don't stay inside the chalk-made circles on the grass. It has been 5 days, and they don't seem to be any closer to getting this herding shit right as they did on their first day. Also, his friend's idiocy is getting out of hand. Every one of them seem to have a brilliant idea that will finally make the sheep obey them. But so far, Bakugou is pretty sure the only thing the sheep learn is how to show their content for the teens with their limited facial expressions. Zero made them spend a whole day trying to put the sheep on leashes. His reasoning was that if they could make the sheep get used to the path they expected them to follow, and later, after the leashes were off, the sheep would naturally do what they've been told. After half a day of making leashes out of old rope and leather string, and 3 hours of trying to tie the leashes around every one of the sheep, they found out that sheep aren't really particularly fond of being dragged around. Most of the sheep simply froze in place and refused to budge no matter how much they pulled through the ropes. The next day, they tried again, hoping that during the night the sheep had time to think over their bad behavior and were ready to be guided by the leashes. It obviously didn't work. So, Kirishima took the center stage, arguing that sheep were very intelligent animals and were probably being stubborn on purpose. After a terrifying speech about the sheep's being in conclusion with the goats, and a whole heated debate about the animals' agility to hide axes without opposing thumbs, Kirishima stated that he was the one with the most experience in dealing with the goats, so he should be in charge of the sheep herding competition. And Kirishima thought the best way to make the sheep run through the course marked in chalk on grass was for the team themselves to run through the course enough times to make the sheep understand what they should be doing. That meant a whole other day of running through the field until the Vikings and Dragons were panting with their tongues rolled out. That day, Katsuki got alarmingly close to actually killing his friend. The only thing that stopped him was the moment Kirishima said, "I think they're getting the gist of it. Another 30 times or so should do the trick." And Katsuki got ready to kill the redhead. Izuku dropped his head on Bakugou's shoulder in complete exhaustion. Katsuki couldn't disturb Deku's rest just to kill Kirishima, so the idiot lived a head-bang goats another day. Bakugou hugged Izuku's shoulder and brought the boy close to his chest, feeling his heart swell with emotion. Everything was alright when Izuku was with him. But the moment of peace was shortly lived because soon they had to debate another approach to deal with the sheep issue. That evening, they didn't reach any big breakthroughs. However, Bakugou should have noticed the ambiguous perspective when Kaminari said, "I have an idea. I'll try to gather what we need for tonight, and then we could test it tomorrow." Bakugou thought he was ready to deal with any idiocy his friend brought, but he was wrong. Never before had he felt so amazed at how stupid his friends can be when Kaminari and Kirishima arrive at the field carrying several large sheep petals that morning. If we look like them, they'll understand what they need to do faster. No, they didn't. All good the petals did was make the teens sweat bullets while they ran on all fours and down the green field doing the exercise the goddamn sheep should be doing. That's fucking it. I am so fucking done with your fucking ideas. We can't fucking herd sheep. We can't. And I don't even know why the fuck we can't, since these goddamn sheeps are actually herded daily by the damn farmers, but they won't follow our shitty commands. And now the only explanation I got for this unbelievable fucked up fact is the sheep are actually intelligent, and they are done with your bullshit. Katsuki yells, completely spent and over this bullshit. That's it. That's the only explanation for the shit show that is the sheep are smarter than us. Bro, keep your voice down. This won't get any easier if you stress the sheep. Kaminari says, crossing his arms as if he's berating a child. Won't get any easier? How the fuck can it get any harder? We have less than 3 days and the sheep haven't made the whole course even once. Kaminari gets up from the floor, with grass on his mouth and a huge black sheep pelt on his back. And what's your suggestion, Baku? I'm only seeing you criticize our ideas, but you haven't brought anything for us to work with. Yeah, dude. We don't need your negativity, alright? Zero ponders. I don't fucking know, okay? Maybe we should try one sheep at a time. Maybe call the farmers to herd them to another field, and we bring them one. Hey, Izuku managed to make the sheep complete the course, Mina says happily next to them, making the 4 boys turn around just to see Izuku in his dragon form charling through the field with the sheep on his mouth. Deku! Katsuki yells, and the dragon looks at him with the huge innocent eyes, as if he didn't know why the Viking is yelling at him. The fuck? The last question came out as a whisper in utter disbelief. He doesn't even know how to express his thoughts about this. Izuku, however, doesn't seem bothered by it. He simply resumes walking around the course with the sheep in his mouth, showing the rest of the herd how it's done, under the terrified gaze of another sheep. After finishing the course, the dragon approaches the trembling in fear herd, drops down the frozen and panicked sheep in his mouth, and tries to grab another, intending to repeat the process. However, this time, the sheep runs away scared of the big black dragon trying to put them in his mouth, and Deku is forced to run after them. There's a whole choir of horrified baas as the sheep run in a perfect herd through the field with an awkward dragon running after them, determined to grab a sheep to show across the course. The herd is fast and manages to evade Deku several times under the stunted eyes of 4 boys and happy cheers of the dragon girl. Finally, Izuku manages to counter one and grabs it by the midsection of his toothless mouth. Deku, put the sheep down! Katsuki yells as he finally gathers his bearings. Izuku looks at him with childish petulance and decides to keep walking the course with the sheep. Deku, I'm not gonna ask you again. Put the sheep down! Very begrudgingly, Izuku drops the sheep on the floor and gives Katsuki a stink eye that says, I was getting somewhere while you were just yelling at Kirishima, Kachan. The moment the scared sheep's hoofs touch the floor, the animal runs away and completes the course perfectly on its own. Yay, Izu! You did it! You taught the sheep how to herd! Mina jumps around happily. I hope the sheep don't tell that to the farmers, Kirishima says, worriedly. The sheep must really be intelligent, or magic, or both. After Deku terrified them through the field once, the whole sheep began following their directions through the chalked path. After completing the course twice, Bakugou told everyone to go home for an early night. Better not test their luck. They dragged their feet back home, dirty, tired, and hungry. The group of teens split towards their homes silently, and when Bakugou and Izuku reach their home, they go straight to the back to clean up on the washing well. Bakugou pulls his sweat-drenched shirt off to clean himself with the cool water of the wooden bucket. When he finishes taking the sweat off his body, he turns to leave and sees Deku take his vest and shirt off. Katsuki instantly gets mad. The fuck, Deku? We talked about it. You can't take off your vest while people can see you. What if... The complaint dies on Katsuki's mouth when he sees Izuku's body. He isn't a girl anymore. Not only that, Deku is big. Really big. His arms must be thicker than Katsuki's now, though he's still shorter in height than Bakugou. The effect of his muscles make him look like a giant. Before, when Izuku's human form was a boy, he was small and scrawny. Now he is strong like a warrior, and realizing that makes Katsuki blush a bright red immediately. Bakugou turns his face away, embarrassed. What the fuck just happened? Did Deku's brain just flip the switch of his human form from girl to incredible? Oh, it looks like I'm back to having a boy body, Kachan, Izuku says, cheerfully. Though I still don't understand why boys can take their shirts off to clean and girls can't. I'm sure girls sweat too, because last night when we got home, I stank worse than the pelts. What the fuck just happened to you? Katsuki barks, trying to hide his feelings with anger. Are you gonna do that every fucking time now? Why the fuck are you stronger? You couldn't have built muscles like that out of nowhere. Machan, how many times do I need to explain to you that this body is just a magical representation of me? Izuku says, showing up by his side, wet, but dressed. I've been feeling stronger since I've learned how to control my powers and stood up for my friends, and now I've solved the sheep issue, all on my own. Obviously, my new abilities would show up on my mental expression of myself. All on your own? Katsuki barks as he pulls Izuku's ear harshly. I'm gonna fucking kill you, you little shit, just to teach you not to be so conceited. You think because you got some muscles now you can talk back to me? Chan! Izuku whines, but the little scuffle is interrupted by Mitsuki calling for them. Brat! Izuku! What are you two out there? Get in and eat! During dinner, however, Katsuki allows himself to mull over what Izuku had said, but the dragon chatted happily with his parents about the festival's preparations. Deku did change a lot since they've met. He was a scrawny little thing who looked like he was starving more often than not. Enough to think a piece of goat floating on the ocean wasn't a trap. When they began talking, he was still very unsure of himself. Hell, even when he got to the village, he was so shy around his parents. But now, here he is, talking a mile a minute, and joking around with the old hag. This is not the first time Bakugo noticed these changes. But before these thoughts came with the revealed fear that Katsuki didn't want to admit. He'd been terrified that Izuku would just go away after mastering his quirk, and several other dragons showing up to do just that didn't help Katsuki's insecurities at all. What did help was finally admitting to Deku how important the dragon is to him, and hearing back that Izuku feels the same. It's hard to deal with the word sometimes, but the idea of the other dragons taking Izuku away was just as terrifying as the idea of the dragons trying to kill everyone in his village. After accepting that, to accept that he loves Deku was the natural next step. And he does love the dragon, and even finds amusing how cheeky and self-absorbed he's getting. Also, he missed spending time with Deku, just the two of them. Sure, they may not be like Kirishima and Mina, with the whole idiotic courting, but Izuku and he have their own special thing, and Bakugo wouldn't change that for anything in the world. That's why, as soon as they finish dinner, Bakugo drags his new beefy boyfriend to their bedroom for cuddles. Kachan, your mom was in the middle of a story about lost flowers, Izuku complains, as Bakugo drags him up the stairs. I don't give a shit about damn flowers, he grunts, without letting go of the dragon's hand. Katsuki pulls Izuku until they're laying on the pelts and blankets they laid on the floor. They have abandoned the bed for days now, since it's clear that Izuku can't keep his human form through the night, and the bed was scarily close to breaking from the weight of a grown dragon on it every night. Kachan, is everything alright? Izuku asks softly as they snuggle together. I'm fucking tired, Katsuki grumbles, enjoying the new, firm, strong. I'm fucking tired, Katsuki grumbles, enjoying the new, firm, strong form of Deku by resting his head on the dragon's chest. Yeah, but tomorrow will be easier. Now that the sheep's problem is solved, we can relax a little, Deku says, running his fingers through Bakugo's hair. Let's fly away. The blonde boy grunts. What? Izuku asks, confused. Let's just fucking go. I'm so done with all this shit. The dragon chuckles. We can't go away, Kachan. You are the princess of the village, and the people need us here. People can go fuck themselves. Kachan! I know. Bakugo huffs. I'm just tired. In 2 days we have the festival, and then after that, we can take some time to rest properly. Izuku whispers softly to him. We can fly to an island and spend a whole day laying on the sand and eating fruit. That sounds good. Katsuki mumbles. Izuku softly kisses his forehead, and Bakugo is too relaxed to even blush at the soft display of affection. I love you, Kachan. I love you too, shitty lizard. It always comes back to the sheep. It's like a whole full circle. The sheep. Honestly, I should have put one of the tags for like the underneath the chapter name, sheep. That would have been hilarious. Because it all goes full circle. In a couple chapters you'll understand. You'll be like, "Oh my god, it's those damn sheep." This whole time I was reading, I'm like, "Oh my god, the sheep. The sheep. Oh my god, the sheep." And then when I got to a certain chapter, I'm like, "Those fucking sheep." It's the most funniest shit in the whole world. Okay, so I want to talk about Bakugo almost killing his best friend, right? Kirishima says something stupid, and Bakugo's like, "I'm gonna fucking kill him. I'm gonna go fucking kill him." And then Deku's like, "Ugh, I'm tired. I'm just gonna rest my head on Bakugo, just, tired." And Bakugo's like, "You got saved this time, because I can't interrupt him. But count your days." I love that. That is so cute. That's adorable. And it also reminds me of, like, there's specifically this one time where I wanted to get up, and I wanted to slap my, I'm like, "Get up." I wanted to get up and be like, "You." But I couldn't, because I realized I had a sleeping cat in my lap, and I'm like, "You got saved. Count your days. Count your days." But it just reminds me of that. The fact that, when there's a cat somewhere and it's sleeping, you can't move it. I can't move it. He was in my lap. I can't move Storm. Storm wishes to stay there, so Storm stays there. I can't interrupt Storm. That is against the law. That is inhumane. That is horrible. I also love towards the end of the sheep problem, where it was like the four boys arguing. Freaking Bakugo was starting to lose it. I feel like he's just done with the bullshit, and he was starting to lose it. He genuinely was starting to lose it. He's just like, "I can't anymore. I can't. I fucking can't. I can't. I can't. I can't." He genuinely started to lose it. And I love that. I love how Izuku solved the problem by literally terrifying the sheep. I can't even imagine, like, seeing that, like, that. That is so hilarious in my mind. I also want to talk about the end. They finally, my boyfriend, oh my god, it's finally, like, 100% confirmed. But, like, it's, like, the unconfirmed confirmed, where it's like, okay, so if you guys were to celebrate your anniversary, what the fuck day would it be? I hate that. Okay, I love sitting here and watching couples be like that. Like, oh, that is such a cute dynamic. Like, they both just know, But it also opens up the whole miscommunication. One knows, one doesn't know. Obviously in this fact, they both know. It's both very obvious. It's super obvious, right? But outside of fan fiction, I hate it IRL, because it's like, okay, no, you can't call me your boyfriend. You haven't even asked me. But we go on dates. We're basically dating. No, we're not. We're in a situationship. Sure, I'll give you that. But none of us have clearly stated that we are significant others. And if you'd say the whole bullshit, it's like, oh, well, we're doing all this, but we're not dating. But it's like, exclusive. You're dating. As someone who's been in a situationship before, goddamn, I was in a situationship for a year. Yeah, that's a lot. We started dating for a couple months, and then I got dumped. We literally only dated for like a couple months, like 3 months max. And I got dumped. And it wasn't even a proper dump. It was just like, hey, let's go back to the situationship. I'm like, okay, yeah. Because, then the person's like, oh, I'm not ready for a relationship. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'll wait for you. And then months later, I found out that they moved on and had a crush on someone else. And I'm like, oh. Wonderful. Anyways, sorry. I don't know why I just went on there. I love that they finally confirmed it. At least in Bakugo's mind. But if Bakugo thinks it, then Izuku definitely fucking thinks it. I also love the whole little cute, I love you, and then Bakugo's like, I love you, shitty lizard. I love that. I feel like Bakugo's love language is insult. His love language is insult. Anyways, that's all I have to say for now. As always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.